Hello guys, hope you're well. It's Mark here and we're back with another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. We are in this beautiful throwback American Airlines 737-800, the PMDG of course. One of my favorite liveries of all time. Grew up seeing this all the time and it's a shame it's gone, short of just one singular 737 that they left in this paint scheme with the bare metal there. But anyways, we're going to fly it today. So we are on the ground in Los Angeles at LAX, of course, and we're going to fly over to Vail in Colorado, which is my home state and a really awesome airport. And I just got a hold of the scenery over there from Xometry, I think is how you say it, Xometry Designs Eagle. So we're going to fly it over there today, operating American Airlines Flight 409. So it should take us right around an hour 55 minutes, 2 hours, something like that, to get over there. It's not too long of a flight, and weather looks pretty good both places, so that shouldn't be a concern. GSX is boarding the aircraft, so we can see we got some baggage on the way to load in. Although it looks like that first cart is empty for some reason. I don't know what that's about. But anyways, we'll go ahead and jump over to Navigraph real quick and just brief our route. Actually, let me open Simlink so we have our location for Navigraph. So here's our route today. We're departing... Oh, I didn't reload this. I changed runways because of our gate locations. Let me reload our plan, that'll get us a more accurate view. There we go. So we're departing runway 25 right because our location on the airport is right in this area. Simlink hasn't loaded quite yet. So 25 right, Orca 5 departure to Docker, and then a left turn on a heading, and then we'll basically get vectored around to pass this fix at above 13,000. There's a few more altitude restrictions out on the SID here. I will climb out across Southern California, heading up to the northeast. I will fly just to the south of Las Vegas here, and then we'll cross northern Arizona, southeastern Utah, and then up towards Eagle. Let me reload our approach just so I have that as well. We're planning to do an RNAV approach into Eagle as well, so we'll head out to our last fix on our flight plan. There's no stars in Eagle. Then to this fix and start our RNAV approach. Weather's good, so should end up being pretty much a visual approach. We'll go ahead and jump in and we'll start getting everything else set up. Only thing I've done is turn ground power on and turn our nav and logo lights on. As for this right now, we'll kind of just leave everything where it's at. I think we'll start with fuel and payload stuff. So we'll take a peek over here at our flight plan today. Block fuel of 16,109 pounds. I'm going to add a little bit of extra, just kind of round that up for like APU usage and such. So we'll round that up to 16,500 pounds. So we'll load that on board. So 16,500 pounds payload. We'll put in our zero fuel weights down here. So we have 138 passengers, 7,000 pounds of cargo. Gives us a zero fuel weight of 123.6. So relatively heavy, but not super, super heavy. 123.6. I have not loaded that in. I don't know how in the world that is exactly what it's supposed to be, because I haven't told it the sim brief plan exists either. Unless it loaded in when I put the fuel, but that doesn't make any sense. Weird. Whoa. 123.6. Set. Cool. Alright, we'll start our initial flow up here at the top for the overhead panel. Way up at the top here, IRSs can come to nav. Yaw damper, we're going to leave that off for now. Fuel pumps we'll leave off until we're ready to push back or starting the APU, which can stay off as well. Emergency exit lights can be armed. Fueling's completed now, so we'll put the fasten seatbelt sign to the on position. Window heats, we'll go ahead and put that on. Probe heat we'll leave off for now. Hydraulics can stay as well. Recirc fans. I'm going to go ahead and put the packs on auto so we'll have AC as soon as we are ready to go. And then we'll go ahead and set our cruise altitude and landing altitude as well. So 370, we're cruising today. There's 370, landing altitude we'll have to grab from a chart. 6,547. So we'll set that to 6,550. Cool. So that is set. Come down here, verify our nav database. February 22nd to March 21st, so that looks good. Position initialization, we are at LAX. We're at gate 46 Alpha. We'll see if that's in database or not. It is. The Aorus position, however, we'll head to our left GPS. You can put that in there, and then I'll activate everything. Sweet. Route page now. Los Angeles is our origin, and we'll pull a request. Who does it have? Why doesn't it have my sim brief loaded in here? Oh, it's probably because I didn't load that here. Do I have my sim brief? I do. There we go. Alright, so there's our data from SimBrief. That should pull it in here. Cool, that's what we're looking for. Select route there. We already set our fuel and payload, so we'll load that in. Cool, American 409. We'll go ahead and load that route. Cool. There's our uplink. So what we'll do is we'll set our runway 25 right. And then we'll get our departure and arrival loaded in. So departing off 25 right on the Orca 5. What's our transition? However, we can look at that on our Navigraph map here. Transition is going to be Vail. And 25 right, we'll verify that. Sweet. Arrival, no stars, and we're going to do the RNAV Zulu runway 25. And no transition on that. Cool, so that's going to give us a discontinuity, I know for a fact, leading up to our approach. So this is from our en route phase, our last en route waypoint, starting on our approach there, because our transitions there didn't match up, which is fine. We just have to clear that discontinuity. So we'll grab Haiti, throw it in there, clear that discontinuity. That's the only one I know that should exist. So we'll head to the plan page, and we'll just step through. So there's our departure, and then we're going to make a left turn around and head up to the northeast, and then on to our approach. Then we got our missed approach. Sweet. That looks good to me. So we'll go back to the route page, we'll activate and execute that, and we can head back to the map page. Sweet. We'll keep moving here. Performance initialization. Wrong button there. We can load in our zero fuel weight, 123.6. Our plan of 16.6. We got 16.5 on board. Perfect. Reserves we'll get from our flight plan. Final reserve plus alternate fuel is like 5.3 thousand pounds. Cost index is 11 on our flight today. And our cruise altitude is flight level 370. We'll go ahead and execute that for now, and then we're going to change some things. Just get rid of the light. Our cruise wind, our average wind today is 250 at 83. So put that in, and our outside air temperature. Can we put it in? No, we cannot. So top of climb outside air temperature we will grab from over here at top of climb for our cruise level is minus 58. So that goes right there. Sweet, so there's performance. In one limit, we'll go ahead and do our performance data over here on the EFB. Into the performance tool. Import this stuff if it'll take it for us. I guess I gotta select a runway. Everything else it should grab for us. 25 right, there we go. 25 right, that looks good. Runway is dry. Import this from the aircraft. We'll do optimum flaps and takeoff performance. NAS will be on, or off, excuse me. Packs will leave on because we've got plenty of long runway. No need to shut those off. We'll grab the latest weather, which is 190 at 3, 23 degrees, 29er on the altimeter, and that'll give us acceleration height of 1500. It wants, I may set that to 3000 for noise abatement. I guess we're climbing out of the ocean though, so probably not an issue. So flaps 5, TO1, selected temperature of 44. So selected temperature is 44. TO1, that should give us 90.7, which it does. Takeoff page, we'll load in our CG here. We want flaps 5, and then we got 138, 139, 144, and we have 138, 139, 144. So those all match up, so we can just load them in from here. Trim is 4.84 units, so we're actually going to set that right now while I'm thinking about it. So it's going to be just before V5, somewhere right about there. So trim is set. Head to the second page here. I'm not even going to bother loading in our wind and slope. And then what I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and accelerate at 1500 since we're not going to really have much noise abatement out over the ocean. I don't think that's a concern. So we'll leave that where it is. So that's pretty much it, except for a couple things. First thing, actually, I'm going to go to the legs and then route data page, and we'll request our winds for our cruise. And we'll load those in. Oh wait, there it goes. I don't know that it loaded those properly. But I'll go ahead and load our descent forecast winds. And execute. That all looks good. Alright, there's our cruise winds. And we'll load those in. Yes, it is loading, it's just not showing them. Okay, that's fine. Cool, that's complete. We'll head back to the takeoff page here. And what we will do is get our MCP and everything set up here. I'm going to hit our magic bear reference key. VORs, that's fine. We'll take traffic and we will take data over here. We'll get flight director 1, flight director 2 on. I don't know what American does, but I'm going to go ahead and arm the auto throttle at the gate there. We'll set our V2 speed of 144. We'll set our heading from our standard instrument departure. So we're going to RNAV to Docker, and then we're going to be on heading 236. So since we're RNAV initially, I'm going to set that 236 heading so that we can go to heading select. That's going to be all via our nav essentially, but we'll back up that heading of 236 there. Initial climb, the top altitude of this is 230, so since we're not flying with ATC, we'll just say initially we're cleared to that 230. And then I'm going to set our courses to align with our runway course, which is 251. On both sides. Just went past it there, 251. Perfect. We'll take traffic data, and then we'll go auto brake to RTO. And that is pre-flight stuff more or less done. Definitely finished boarding now. We got all the passengers and baggage loaded. Leave that on takeoff page. I'm going to put this guy, so I got to go out here, FMC, we'll put this guy on the legs page for us to do our direct. And then we'll get the overhead set up, but while we'll do that, we will go ahead and prepare for pushback and departure on GSX. Cool. Yaw damper can come on. Fuel pumps. We don't have any fuel in the center, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll check our cross feeds, so we should see a bright light and a dim light, and then a bright light and off. Sweet. These are good as well right now. Generators are still where they should be, so we're going to start the APU. So we'll go ahead and start that up. Probably could have got that done a little bit earlier, but that's fine. That all is good here. Start switches are where they should be. I'm going to leave probe heat off till after start. Anti-ices we don't need either. We'll go ahead and pressurize our hydraulics though. And then the other thing we can do is flip the APU bleed on as that gets going to get some air into the cabin. And we'll get our anti-collision light, which is our beacon light, on as we prepare for pushback. Did GSX do what I wanted to? Oh, GPU. Yeah. Alright. So wait for that APU to stabilize. We'll transfer our power over, ground power off. Other thing we'll do, hydraulics are pressurized, so we'll take the parking brake on. Go FS actions, ground services, remove the chocks and the GPU. Can hear those packs come alive. We got air momentarily before engine start.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Door is not shutting automatically either, so we'll get that done as well.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Cool. Doors are shut. Oops.
Locking gear.
Alright, we want nose left, tail to the right.
Release parking brakes.
Go ahead and release those parking brakes, which I have to do with my feet. Cool, and we'll prepare for engine start. Packs come off. APU bleed stays on. Beacon is on. We'll start our clock, and we'll start number 2. We got N2 rising as well as N1. Looking for 25% on that N2 before we bring in the fuel. There we go, there's 25. Here comes the fuel. Should see our start valve lights cut out on the overhead. There's starter cutout on number 2, so we'll start number 1. Push is complete, so there comes the park and brake. We got into N1, looking for that 25%. And there's fuel. Starter valve lights off.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
And there's cutout on starter number 1, so we have a good start. Go ahead and get the engine page. Reset that. That should not be yellow. Cool. Alright. Everything down here is good. We'll do our after start flow up on the overhead. Fuel pumps, that's all good. We can go and switch our generators back over and shut the APU off. We don't need that. Start switches can come to continuous at this point. Probe heats on. Packs back to auto. Isolation valve auto. APU bleed off. Everyone's clear in front of us, so we'll take our turn-offs and taxi lights as well. We're going to set flaps 5, 1, 2, and 5. Let's just re-verify this. Takeoff speeds. Cool. 1, 2, and 5. Waiting for flaps 5 and... Cool, flaps 5 is set. We are ready to roll, more or less. We don't have any lights on the overhead. Other thing I'm actually going to go ahead and do is set our transponder to TARA. This probably should be at 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll set 1200. Actually, I'll set 2000 for IFR, even though we're not flying with ATC or anything of the sort. Cool. Parking brake off, and away we go. Alright, we're just about to pull up to runway 25 right here. We're following an American Eagle E175, I think. Either that or like an E319, can't quite tell. So we'll be taking off after him. But what we'll go ahead and do is we'll chime the cabin so that everyone can take a seat. This guy's going absolute full length. I suppose we'll do that as well. We might as well just follow him. Auto throttle is armed. I'm going to go ahead and activate LNAV and VNAV at the moment as well. Stars are continuous. Looks like he's holding short. I don't see any traffic on final for our runway. Yep, so he should be pulling on. Looks like it's an E170 or E175. There he goes. He's on his roll, so we'll go ahead and line up behind him. As we pull on here, we'll get landing lights as well as strobe lights on. And we are ready to go, barring starting that clock. Looks like he's off the ground. So in that case, we'll keep it rolling. We'll start that clock. He's going to be well out of our way, so we'll go ahead and get on with it. Alright, we'll set 40% in one. Stabilized and toga. We've got N1, toga. Thrust is set. Airspeed's alive. There's 80 knots. V1 and rotate. Pause rate to climb. Gear up. Gotta go ahead and side of my bug there. We're gonna go ahead and bug up here. We will start accelerating. Just about to reach 1500, so I'll start getting the airplane sped up here. There's thrust reduction. We'll set flaps 1. And flaps up. And then we'll let VNAV take over the speed. There's our left turn heading 236. Get back over on that flight director. Need a little nose down trim. We'll go ahead and take autopilot. Enable next altitude. That's just because we gotta meet that 10,000 restriction, so we'll climb off on this heading a little bit until we can make that restriction. But in the meantime, we'll get the airplane cleaned up. Those lights can come off. Start switches can come off as well. Gear lever can come off. There's our traffic that departed prior to us, so we'll make sure we're kind of behind him in order for us to make our turn. I'm going to go ahead and engage heading select, and we're going to start bringing it around on heading mode, just so we can make it a nice easy turn and we don't encroach on that other traffic too much. Looks like we're out climbing him, however. He may be heading a different direction. So as we spin around left here, we'll just go ahead and go direct to Clipper. I can hit my execute key. There's direct Clipper, and we'll take LNAV. So we're going to turn inside of that other traffic. There's 10,000 feet. We'll take those landing lights off. And accelerate. At this point we'd be talking to approach departure, maybe center, and we get cleared up to our cruising altitude, so I'm going to go ahead and spin this up as well, since we are not using ATC. So we'll set 370, and I'm going to spam out, intervene, get rid of those restrictions, and we'll just head straight up to 370. Cool. Well, we are well on our way off to Eagle Vail. Been there just about 6 minutes, so about hour 45 or so left on this flight. I'll go ahead and leave it there. We'll watch the views of LAX passing beneath. But other than this, it's just going to be the airplane climbing up to cruising altitude and getting our way on over to Colorado. So I hope you guys enjoyed the departure. I'll be back with you shortly, probably once we've begun our descent shortly thereafter. I'm not expecting any changes in terms of our arrival procedures or anything like that. So I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. See ya. Hello everyone, welcome back. We are currently in our descent now down towards Eagle Vail. Nothing really changed in terms of our planned arrival, so we're on our descent towards our final waypoint up in front of us, and then we're going to make our right turn onto the RNAV Zulu for runway 25. It's been a very quick flight. It's been an hour 27 minutes. We've had a very strong tailwind up over 100 knots for most of the cruise portion, giving us a ground speed well over 500 knots, so it made the flight pretty quick. Everything's essentially set up for our descent here. Fasten seatbelt sign came on very early because as we started to pass over the western slope of the Rocky Mountains, we picked up quite a lot of turbulence, so that's on. We've done our landing en route calculation here, and we're using auto brake 3, so that is set. Our baro minimums of 60 at 14 is set, and then our landing VREF is set as well, which let me actually verify in my head what that is. So 142 knots. About to start slowing down here as we make our right turn towards the approach. We're supposed to be at 180 there, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't start slow that airplane down a little bit earlier, because that's quite a lot of speed to try and lose. So we'll throw some speed brake out here and try to get ourselves slowed down a little bit earlier than that. That's a very short leg to slow down, 70 knots or whatever. So we'll shorten that up a little bit. About to come to transition level as well. Man, it's a slippery bird. It really doesn't want to slow down. I assume there's going to be some form of a level off at that decel point though, so that should help us out as well. Like we'll make it in just about right at sunset. So should hopefully be a good view on our approach and landing. Some snow in the area, however, it's looking a bit green for this time of year outside of the snow, but that's alright. Alright. We've slowed down decently well here, coming through 18,000. We're going to set 3012. So that's set on both sides. Sure what's going on with the VNAV path at the moment, but whatever it is, it's helping us slow down. In fact, we don't need those speed brakes for the time being. We're about to reach right around 10,000 feet or so above airport elevation, so I'm going to go ahead and flip our landing lights on. Currently have our MCP altitude set to 12,700, which is the altitude we want to be at this fix, so we'll kind of just dial it back as we go to 10.4, 10,100, 10,000 at Aloha for the 3.5 degree final approach course, or I should say glide path there onto the final approach segment of our Navizu. Here comes our right turn. See what it's going to do at this decel point, if it's going to need help or not. It is commanding a bit of a pitch up. This needs to be 180 now. May need a bit of speed brake still to help ourselves get there. We'll get some flaps going relatively shortly. A little bit high on our glide path as well, about 300 feet or so. I'm going to go ahead and take flaps 1. In just a moment. Alright, I had to plug back in my throttle quadrant, so there we'll take flaps 1. Come on, VNav, you can do it. Go ahead and throw terrain up on our display as well, since we certainly got a fair bit of that in the area. Alright, there's 180, and we're coming back on that glide path, so we'll kick out those speed brakes. I will actually leave them armed. I'm going to go ahead and take flap 5 as well. VNav there for a second. Maybe when I touched my throttle. There we go. Alright. Let's put our speed down to flap. Oh, no, duh. That was when I pulled the speed out. Speed down towards flap 5 speed. That's good for now. We'll just kind of leave it there for the time being. We'll get our gear and the rest of our flaps once we're turning on the final approach. Alright, our next altitude restriction is 10.4. We're definitely going to make 12.7, so we'll go ahead and set 10.4 now. Beautiful. Gonna get a screenshot of that. So we're gonna look out the other direction as well. I'm gonna go ahead and speed intervene us right now. We'll select right on that flap speed. Probably slowed down this far a little bit early, but on approaches like this I always want to make sure I'm configured earlier rather than later. You don't want to be struggling to get down and trying to get the airplane configured when you're dealing with an approach around terrain and all that. So, alright, after 10,400 is just 10,100 and 10,000, so kind of along this range it's pretty flat. And it looks like, what is it going to have us at as we cross these fixes? It doesn't tell me the exact altitude it wants. But I'm going to go ahead and just set 10,000 for now. And then, once we're coming up on Aloha, we're going to spin that MCP altitude all the way down to our Barrow minimums of 68.14, or at least as close as we can get, a little bit above that. Glide path still looking good. There's our radio altimeter. And we can just see that runway starting to come in sight off our right side, just in front of the beautiful sunset there. Turning towards Aloha, we'll reset MCP altitude. And I'm going to set that for 6,900, just a little bit above our minimums, so we don't exceed them. But we got that runway in sight, and we'll go pretty much visual here before too long. I'm going to do one check of the altimeter, still 30. Oh, that's out of date actually. So let's reset it to what it is locally. Cool, there we go. Alright, gear coming down, flaps 15. We're looking for 147 as our final approach speed. Speed brakes are armed. Looks like we're a little low. Yeah, the altimeter wasn't updated, so I'm not sure what it's actually reading in the sim. So I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take our autopilot off at this point. I'm going to leave auto throttle on for just a second. We're going to set 147. We'll do flaps 25. And flaps 30. Some nose down trim. There come our pappies into view. Looks like we're right about on glide path. A little slow though. Come on, auto throttle. Alright, I'm gonna pull auto throttle off. And we'll just go raw data, so we'll take that flight director off as well. Alright, now we are stabilized. Alright, engine switches continuous. We'll get the rest of our lights on and we're clear to land. little bit fast, taking out just a touch of power.
1,000.
There's 1,000 feet. Still a little fast, pulling out just a touch more power. Try to get that speed back right to VREF +5. There's Costco right down in front of us. Speed looks good now. Looking good on the Pappies.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
And continue.
Sync rate.
Watch that sync rate.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Oh, come on. There we go. Auto brake, spoilers, and we'll get our reverse in. Relatively short runway, but that auto brake should do most of the work for us. Alright, there's 60 manual braking. Sweet. Vacate at the end. It's not really the runway or the situation to float like that, but we still got it down in the touchdown zone, so I didn't feel the need to go around there. Got our lights off, and then our taxi. These can come off. Flaps up. Get rid of our spoilers. And we'll stop our clock. Start GSX, like always. Auto brake can come off. And we'll start the APU as well. Strobe off as well. Cool. We're rolling here. I didn't have a look at which gate we are going to park at, and there's not a chart that, oh, it's shown right here, duh. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, or 4 is what we're looking for. And we'll take about gate 2, no follow me, American Airlines, nice. Terrain can come off. Pretty much everything else is set to go. Can speed up our taxi just a little bit. So right about just on time. I think SimBrief said our trip time was going to be 1 hour 37 minutes. We flew off the runway at 1 hour 45. We slowed down a little bit earlier than the plan kind of intended us to, so that's part of the discrepancy there, but pretty darn close. Oh, I forgot I had anti-ice on earlier. That should come back off. I'll go ahead and turn on our APU gens since we have that running. And for any AC, we'll take our APU bleed. Alright, as we pull into the ramp here, we'll get rid of that taxi light so I don't blind anyone. And we're going to be the second stand. Right, parking brake is on. Kick off the engines. Fasten seatbelt signs. Beacon light can come off as well. Fuel pumps. Probe heats. Window heats. Hydraulics there. And we'll take the APU bleed off as well. And we'll set our chocks and get the GPU connected. And we'll stop our clock. 2 hours, 2 minutes. Block time. Alright. There's the ground power. APU off. Everything else is good to go. Oh boy. I'm gonna just reset that. Cool. Well, welcome to Vail. We'll request deboarding.
Deboarding requested.
And we are good to go. Back my speeds here on the drone. Thank you very much for joining me on this flight this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Big fan of this airport for sure. It's a lot of fun to fly in too. And also gets you off the, you know, just flying ILS's kind of rut. Sometimes I get in a rut depending on the type of routes I'm doing where I'm just flying ILS's over and over. It's kind of fun to do a different type of approach every now and then. Well, as always, leave likes, comments, and suggestions down below, and please do subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll leave it there. We'll keep blabbering on, and I'll plan on seeing you guys in the next video.